Good evening, Gooners. Welcome to In the North Bank and North London Derby Matchday Preview Show. We're going to start very soon. We're a little bit delayed. Before we dive in, everyone, I want to hear your predictions. Who's going to win the North London Derby on Sunday? Is it going to be Arsenal or Spurs? Drop your thoughts in the chat and we'll share out some of the predictions during the show. Good evening.
Hiya.
We're going to be. I got a packed crowd here. Got some new faces and we've got some familiar faces. Bez, good evening.
Evening, pal. How are you?
Yeah, very well, mate. Very well. Aya.
You always forget my name.
Aisha.
I
knew it was you. I apologise. I just then had a brain fart. So I apologise. It's one of those. Aisha, I knew it was, and you just your name's there, and it's in such small font. So it's
fine.
It's what it is. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very well, thank you.
All right, good. And then Mark again. Good evening, mate.
Always a pleasure to be on, and tonight we've got a special guest on with us, so I'm delighted.
Yeah, he's just signed for Arsenal. I think apparently what you was saying. Does he?
We'll break that down.
Yeah,
£8 million signed on deadline day.
How's it going, Fats? You okay?
Yeah, I'm absolutely all right. I'm visiting my mum at the moment, so I've not got the Arsenal kit on. I've got beach gear on from Exeter. So, yeah, man, I'm humble settings tonight, but it's finally glad to be on. And it's a pleasure to meet you guys as well.
Yeah, no, same to you, man. Same to you. There's a fair amount to talk about. I've got a small game on Sunday, isn't it? I don't know. Before we get on to Derby talk, just subscribe to the channel and please like the video. But yeah, let's get going. I was gonna go straight to Phil really, and obviously start not so much bigging them up, but obviously talking about Spurs. But obviously they've been a little bit up. They've been a little bit up and down, haven't they? They've had some strong attacking kind of performances. But showing a few vulnerabilities at the back, haven't they? Good wins, one against Everton, where they Everton have been really poor, haven't they? But they obviously got the goals, which is all that matters at the end of the day, early season. But then drop points against Leicester and Newcastle. So it's all, it's up and down. But these games mean nothing for form. Do they, Mark?
Yeah, no, 100%. And you would never imagine that Arsenal could lose their best midfield, and we've got more than a chance to go and win this. And it's actually speaking to Phantom. I can't wait until he actually speaks. I was frustrated at the possibility, because I'm thinking 4-3-3 going into this game, and I'm thinking, Ethan, do I want to put a 17-year-old into Odegaard's position? Oh no, we're done, and the doom and gloom is there, and I'm down. I'm totally down. And then Phantom will come through with some great takes, and I'm against some of these takes, by the way. I'm going to say this honestly, Phantom. I'm against some of your takes. However, when I started thinking about the formation, I thought 3-4-3, and I can start putting my personnel into that. Oh, bro, I'm excited. My manager's way to pull this off. He is a way to pull this off. Spurs, get back in your beds. You think you're doing us? It's not happening. I'm doing this. I'm excited. Bring it on. Can't wait for Sunday. Cannot wait for Sunday, Paul. Honestly.
Yeah. Aisha, what your thoughts going into Derby Day? I know my thoughts and how I always feel come. This is probably how everyone feels. Yeah.
Do you know? For me, I kind of feel it's a bit of a given under our current situation that we're probably going to be lucky to get a draw against City. So for me, losing to Spurs is a no-go because we cannot lose 2 games on the bounce like that. Apart from it being the North London derby, points-wise, we can't do it. The other thing, though, I think is important to note is there's a lot of opportunities for morale to be lifted, even with what's currently going on with injuries. Firstly, Arteta signing his contract is a big boost. It's a big boost for 2 reasons. One, we need that security. When things are up in the air, it always causes instability with morale, with the psychology of the team, all sorts. But the other thing, I think, because Man City are going into their charges this week with the whole thing about Pep apparently going at the end of the season, we all know that Arteta could walk into that job like that. So for that to be settled is shows his loyalty to the club, shows where he's staying. I think it's important. But the other thing is, I think that we should give players like Ethan a chance because it's a North London derby. He's hungry. And at the end of the day, Saka was playing for the England squad. He was in the final in Italy. Well, I mean, we all know what happened, but it made him a better player. He was 17 when that was in the situation. Why aren't we giving this kid a chance against Spurs? The bottom line is he's a Hale End boy. He's hungry for it. He wants to make first team football. And what better way to show your loyalty growing up through the academy to put one past Spurs? So I think that combination is quite interesting.
Yeah, no, it's going to be an interesting decision to be made, isn't there? Really, with Arteta. Bez, what are your thoughts going into the game? Just nervous.
I wouldn't say nervous, optimistic, yes, because how much we despise them, after the end of the last season when they're in their City's backside, shall we say. So for me, I'm hoping for a good result from our side. Just do our thing. Keep the intro short for myself. I think the Arteta, kind of like him signing the extension, will give the squad a massive lift, considering the injuries we're having in this current moment. So I'm just hoping for the best, and hopefully it goes our way on Sunday.
Yeah, no, you obviously mentioned about Arteta's contract. Quite a few was saying that it's obviously PR, and that kind of led. I just see it as there was a lot of talk online about obviously the City connection and that next step for Arteta, and you're suddenly thinking the longer it goes on, the more noise that's going to come out that way about what's he going to do? Is he going to sign it? Is he going to do this? And then what kind of thing does that set to the players? And you're then suddenly saying, right, okay, we still don't know. Are they going to potentially commit? Are they then wondering or looking over the shoulders, thinking, I think Arteta might be going. So I think to get it sorted now, I think it's probably the right time. Obviously, no transfer window, all done, dusted. Get it announced, and then everyone knows exactly what's going on. But yeah, last man in the group, Phantom. What do you think Arsenal can do to exploit Spurs' recent performances?
Well, first of all, I am very, very nervous about this game, of course, because if we lose this, when it comes to Arsenal fans, the first sign of trouble, the panic just goes out of control, right? But I happen to think in amongst all of these injuries and stuff, I think there's an opportunity for a lot of players, right, to remind people what they can do, and also for players to introduce themselves to the squad, because the gaps that these injuries have created can be the organic path for either Nwaneri or Miles Skelly to have the opportunities. Because how else can a youngster get into a team that is performing at this level, right?
Yep.
a set of circumstances have to fall, and this is organic, right? So there's that. I think the way we can get at Spurs, right, is via their fullbacks, Pedro Porro and whoever their left fullback is between Dodgy and Davis, right? And if we're gonna hit them on the break, you've got players like Martinelli. I've been speaking about this with Mark a lot on Spaces, but if there's one person who can remind people exactly what he's about, playing against Spurs on the break, away from home, against Pedro Porro, bearing down on Vicario, like Martinelli, you can stop the show here. And straight after the international break, you can kick your season off with something here. I think there's an opportunity for a lot of players. Sterling, you've got coming in with the point to prove. Martinelli, you've absolutely been forgotten about to a point when if Arsenal speak about what we're going to try and go for or achieve this season, Martinelli's not even part of the picture. He's just a guy in black and white now in the background. He's not even a factor in this discussion. So we get Martinelli back, that could be huge for this team. And yeah, man, I think the first 20 minutes, I'll say this and I'll keep quiet. The first 20 minutes, right? Tottenham are going to be nervous, in my opinion, because we've got all our players out and they have to get a result against us. They must. And picture being a Tottenham fan right now, right? You know that if you don't beat us now, yeah, it's nerves. So that first 20 minutes, I think Arsenal, that Tottenham Stadium is going to be nervous. If Arsenal do what we need to do, right, we can play on Tottenham's nerves in that first 20 minutes. I think that's going to be the key period. If we just ride out the first 20 minutes, the worst nightmare scenario is if, like, the first 5 to 10 minutes, it looks like Ødegaard is missing, the passes are not connecting, then they're flashing balls across our box, the crowd is going, wow, everything, and it's like, ooh, that's a nightmare. But I mean, if we can just stay in a compact block and say, Tottenham, come and attack us. First 20 minutes, come and attack us. Make the crowd nervous, like, okay, they're stopping us, and then hit them on the break. I think that's how we can take Tottenham. But yeah, man, I think there's opportunities here.
Yeah,
that's my word here.
You mentioned you're nervous, and I always go into this fixture, no matter how on top we are, how different the teams are, it's always that game that always puts the hairs at the back of your neck up. And it's a game where you could win, you could lose, or you could draw. Form out of the window. It's one of those games. It's just such a weird game. The most amount of goals, I think, is out of any of the kind of the matchups in the Premier League. Crazy games. I remember the 5-2s. You know what I mean? I was at White Hart Lane for the 5-4, and that was like unbelievable. But every single time, it just hits me. As soon as that morning comes, all of a sudden those little butterflies in the belly just go, and all of a sudden, yeah, I need a drink just to calm the nerves, and then away you go. But yeah, we've had the upper hand recently in North London derbies. So we've beaten Tottenham 5 times in the last 7, and I think that's more than I think I saw a stat. That's more than the last 18. So it's like it's mad. So it shows that we've got the upper hand. Mark, does that give Arsenal an edge, or again is form irrelevant when it comes to this kind of rivalry?
No, I'm trying to balance this. I'm almost thinking it's a free hit for Arsenal in one sense, where we've got this midfield out. But then I know the online fans, and I know they're going to come for Arteta. You've lost this fucking derby because of this, and you didn't sign this player, and you've done all that wrong, and that upsets me. So Do you know what? If I put on the wine to decide, I'm excited. I'm excited. And it's not about Ethan Wanyeri, because I don't want this kid put in. But one thing I know about my manager is he's petty. He is very petty, to the point of oblivion. You look back to when Ethan got his debut for Arsenal, Ivan Toney tweeted out, "A nice kickabout with the boys." Then the very next game against Brentford, Arteta put a 15-year-old on who was still doing his exams at school for a nice kickabout with the boys. So I've got that pettiness inside me, and I see Tottenham fans dancing, doing Man City singing, just so Arsenal don't win the league, because they're that petty and they have to look at Arsenal rather than look at their football club. I said this on the Tottenham Space last night. You had to got top four, you would have earned at least another 60, 70 million. There's a player there. That's one player right there. However, you want to do the Man City dance in your stadium. So being as petty as Arteta, I think he will raise that to these guys. But the player to watch on Sunday is Skelly. Do not put Ethan in there. Watch Skelly. I've watched Skelly for the under-21s, and I swear to God, this kid has got it. 1,000,000%. He is the next Saka. No, he's not next Saka. He's the next Skelly to come out of Arsenal's youth academy. I love this kid. So yeah, I'm excited, but nervous if any of that made sense.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. 100%. Emerson in the chat just said, yeah, Spurs are vulnerable at set pieces if we can exploit it. And yeah, the midfield has to be solid. Yeah, what are your thoughts, Aisha? Just are we maybe expecting a bit too much on these youngsters? Obviously, to chuck someone into like a Wanyeri at 17. I know there's the adage of if you're good enough, you're old enough. Obviously, you see like your Wayne Rooney's and that when they jumped in the seat or got on the scene. Is it too much to expect something like that to suddenly come out in a game of that magnitude, this importance, and this much fire? Or I don't know. What do you think? Or is it because there's obviously lots of games that are going to be coming up, and I'm talking the Carabao Cup. I'm talking about even some of the Champions League games where you might just suddenly just say, right, okay, just throw a kid in or something. What do you think, Aisha?
I think in an ideal world, I'd play him against Leicester. In a real world, because of the current situation, I'd like to think of us being 3-0 up and then shove him on in the last 15 minutes to give him the atmosphere of playing in a North London derby and playing for the first team. The reality is I don't think that's going to happen. I think there's going to be an element of us being incredibly nervous at the weekend. And I don't think it's because it's Spurs. I think it's because it's a game where we haven't got the strong presence of Ødegaard. And I think this is, we don't know he's not going to play. We don't know that, but we've got to go into the game at the moment as supporters on a Thursday evening with a mindset that he's not going to be. I think that's the best thing the most realistic thing that we can say. I do think that Martinelli has got a shine, and I think that getting Sterling is going to help that. I've heard a lot of people say it's actually going to put more reality in the way that Martinelli's going to want to leave. I don't actually think so, because a statistic I heard was that Sterling plays 65 minutes roughly of every game he plays. Well, if you actually look at the way we rotate the front, we rotate between Martinelli and Trossard, and roughly we rotate Trossard in at about the 65th to 70th minute. So if you actually think about it realistically, you could rotate the three of them up front. Sterling can be a massive powerhouse. Martinelli has got He's got the pace when he puts his mind to it. Trossard is just such an intelligent player. And I think it's a way to keep Trossard. It's a redemption arc for Sterling. And it's a way to bring Martinelli back into the fold. And I actually think with them three rotating like that up the front, Saka on the wing, when we've got a full team, you've got Rice and I wouldn't necessarily play Havertz in the midfield because I personally think he's much better pushing up front. But at the same time, I can't see them getting much past us, even with the injuries and the suspensions we got, because what we haven't really touched on at the moment is whatever they may try to push up front, our defence is solid. Like, I can't think of a Spurs player that's going to get past Saliba. I'm sorry, I just can't see it happening. So for me, if we keep pushing, we destroy them in the first half, we're sending a very valuable message. The message is we didn't make mistakes during the transfer window. We do have a rotational squad that is a classy, intelligent rotational squad, not just turning these players over and keep buying them because we've got the money. And I think it's going to be there's a big morale boost with, like I said, Arteta signing his contract again. I'm nervous going into it because I'm not nervous for it being Spurs. It's the Spurs supporters. And I never used to have a thing about Spurs. I said this on the show, I was with Bez a minute ago. I said, I used to treat them like they were the fly in the ointment. Like they are the other North London club that we don't talk about. Right? They're like the Voldemort of North London. Like you just don't talk about them. The rivalry to me was always United, right? United. Because United was the best club in Europe. Therefore, if we are rivaling United, we are the creme de la creme as well. I didn't even remember who they played in the Champions League final a couple of years ago. I was talking that on there because I don't care about Spurs, right? They can live rent-free. They think they can live rent-free in our heads. Good for you, but sorry, mate, rent prices are going up, and so we don't really care about that. But what I will say...
Cost of living
crisis, rent-free, no more. Right, what I can't stand supporters, this is where now I do actually have a venom inside me for them, which makes me a little bit more nervous about these games. Nothing will make me wear another team shirt. Nothing will make me sing another team song. You can hold a gun to my head. I'd rather you put me 6 feet in the ground, and that's not a lie, right? I can't stand is they were more interested in losing 100+ million last season, not making Champions League, than they were more interested in beating us than getting that, right? They were more interested in beating us than being able to psychologically get one over us. They don't have any long game Spurs supporters, and this is what I can't stand. If you're an intelligent Spurs supporter, you would have beaten City and you would have gone. And then if Arsenal effed up their last game of the season, you could sit there going, we gave it to you and you threw it away. Typical Arsenal. And you would forever have that over our heads. But no, you went the petty route. And from that, seeing their supporters sing Blue Moon, no, mate, game over. You're done. I don't care. It's enough for me. Bring it on.
Yeah,
sorry,
no,
that's it. I apologise.
That's all right. I'll be clipped later. That's fine.
Let it rip, man. Let it rip. Let it rip.
I'm just going to quickly say welcome to Reg. He had some issues earlier on.
Yes.
How's it going?
My network has been a nightmare. I'm so happy to be here, guys. Is it Ice? How do you say your name? Aisha. You've taken us here, and I'm still there, man. That is it. I'm really happy to be here, guys. Yeah, I don't know what you guys have done. Yeah, Regis is the name. I'm happy to meet everyone here. First time here, obviously. I was going to encounter some network challenges. I'm not worried about it, but better days ahead. So where are we? What are we saying? Lineups.
I referred to our recent record in North London derbies.
Yeah, we've been killing them.
And do you think? I'll go to you, Reggie, as you just come in. Do you think our dominance in recent matches in these derbies gives the team a proper confidence boost, or
100%?
Still to be cautious.
100%. I know the good thing about it is a lot of those guys that have played in those teams that have beat Spurs in the last 2 seasons. Like we are not that team where one season we've got top players, the next season somebody's come to sweep them off us. So we've got players who I think of this fixture and people are done. I remember when Ramsdale, when we beat them, I think 3-1. when Ramsdale made that very good save at the end of the day. And the only reason Ramsdale is not with us today is because obviously we think we have upgraded on Ramsdale. Another person that comes to mind is Smith Rowe. Again, why is Smith Rowe not with us? We feel like what we are doing at our club right now, Smith Rowe cannot fit in. I don't want to go as far back as Oba, because Oba was maybe before 2 seasons ago or something. But what I'm saying is, these boys are confident. Saka is going to probably, I hear he's going to be captaining the team on the day. Do you know what it is? He's been there. He's scored. He knows what it is to beat Spurs, to score, to assist. My only problem is Destiny Udogie. I'm not even going to lie. Destiny knows how to play against Saka. If Saka wins that battle on Sunday against Destiny, I feel like that is half of the battle for me. Going into the game, am I confident? Even with everything that's going on with us, let's not forget Spurs have got their own issues. There will be no Van der Ven for them. Their record, Solanke, who is supposed to be, Solanke has played 38 games last season, has come to Spurs, such a Spursy thing to do. 1 game in, my man is out. So I think they had their own problems. They are facing issues. But I'm going in. I don't want to sound cocky, but I think the boys, I feel like the confidence is high. We have players who have won this tie over and over. The likes of them, Saka, Saliba has been there, done it. Gabriel has been there, done it. Ben White has been there, done it. You could mention a few more. So yeah, I think morale is high, confidence is high. I think we do it. I think we do it on Sunday, 100%. And Spurs will always be Spurs, definitely.
Great. And finally, Bez, obviously last season, we're 3-0 up, cruising. And then, I think it was 3-0 half time, wasn't it? And then,
it certainly was. Yeah, certainly was.
We turned in an Arsenal performance to try and make it more interesting, didn't we? And it ended up being 3-2. This is what I just say about these games where you suddenly think, we're going to win. It's fine. I've got no problems, and all of a sudden it just turns around and almost like we could have even dropped points just with the chances that were created. What sort of approach are we going to be confident? Are we still going to be brimming over that kind of result, or are Spurs going to be kind of bubbling about how they kind of come back into the game? I don't know. What do you think?
In my eyes, I think going with the same mentality as last season would work. Yes, but second half, as a team, as a unit, including even the bench. And I'll say something about Arteta afterwards. I think we need to go in with a strong mentality first 20 minutes. And me and Asha were talking in the previous podcasts. Keep it together. Keep it solid. Don't lose focus. But from my side, what he is with Arteta is he needs to be perfect in the way of being good defensively, also offensively. But please don't be too clever, but be smart with your tactics. Because surely, yes, we have injuries. Also, we have some suspensions, which silly really how these rules work, as we know, which I mentioned last week, and I'll talk about it at some point, which I'll give more rounds. I'm ready for more rounds again. People think I won't, but I'm ready to talk part of my sleeve again. But I think so I think basically we have to focus on our own game. Yes, it's Tottenham. Yes, we know it's our rivals. Yes, we can't stand them. Yes, they don't like us. I think for us is we just have to do our thing. We have kind of, how can I say this? The midfield is not it's not weak. It's a bit broken, but it's not a weak midfield. People are saying to me now, Jorginho's going to play. He's not really that good. Fine, he might play, but at the same time, don't people forget that Partey, he's actually had a strong start to the season that we could have asked more. He's scoring goals. He looks solid. He looks like, one of those midfielders you need to be ready when your wingman, basically Odegaard seems to be his wingman, basically be that, how can I say this, the anchor in that midfield. So me, I'm optimistic. Oh yes, I'm a bit nervous as well, but with a sense of optimism. I think, yes, we will go for it. We'll fight against them, but we'll go with a fighting spirit. Means we'll give them a game, and I'm sure we'll give it, because after what they put us through, the last few times, I think we'll give them that fire that they deserve. I mean, I'm all for it, so bring it on.
This to me is another classic example of, I love all Arsenal fans, But Arsenal fans, let's be totally honest here, are some of the most moany supporters in the Premier League, right?
No, 100.
We love a moan.
Mm.
And let's be totally honest, right? Look at the team now to look at the team 5 years ago, and 5 years ago could have still turned over Spurs. Stop moaning. Like, stop moaning. 5 years ago, we would have yet. The only bloody sterling you would have got was a coin in your back pocket. Now you've actually got one going up front. I mean, just have a bit of clarity. Like, that's all I ask.
But you remember I think it was 2021 when they turned us over at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I think that the 3-0, the time they beat us 3-0, I remember when we literally wanted to get into Champions League. I think that team has changed to an extent. I remember very well Rob Holding. I can't remember other people that were not, because I remember Rob Holding and Son. Son gave Rob Holding a proper, that was a night to forget for Rob. So I think we've progressed a bit since then, and
100%.
And there's nothing. Since 2021, I don't think they've done any. They've not. We've had draws and beat them 2 times and drawn 2. Maybe beat them 3 times and drawn twice or something. So now I'm going in. I feel confident about this one, even with everything going on. I don't know. Something just tells me, Mikel knows what he's going to do on Sunday. So
yeah. No, it moves me on to obviously we talked about the 5 years, the change. Phantom, this is we might have your own segment here.
Hey.
Let's talk about Arsenal's evolution under Mikel Arteta. We've seen incredible growth in terms of like the organisation of the team, the flexibility with the tactics, even and probably more importantly, and one of my bugbears of the Wenger era is that we love the football, and I thought the progression after Wenger would have been someone that would have played the same football that Wenger was playing, but with the emphasis on without the football. So the pressing, the whole kind of thing behind the scenes of what we do without that football. What do you think are the key components of Arteta's identity as such?
The key components, well, it's the culture of accountability at Arsenal, which he has now put in place. And unfortunately, okay, I'm doing it now. Yeah, if you want a segment, you gotta give me a minute now, because I'm gonna give you this analogy. Right?
We're here.
I used to say this, right? The reason why I call Wenger Xavier. This is for the X-Men fans.
All right, I'm here. Listen, right, come on. Okay.
Perfect. Okay, good. All right. Wenger, okay. Xavier.
Yeah.
In his mutant academy, for you to really appreciate the mutant academy that he had to get really unstable mutants.
Yes.
To the academy to be like, okay, let me show you what is possible. Right? Mm-hmm. And Wenger, when he had the Invincibles, he had a bunch of unstable mutants, right? He had all the thugs on the pitch. Henry, Bergkamp, Vieira, Patrick Vieira, all those guys were the thugs. And then Wenger is that voice.
Yeah,
that Xavier voice. Yeah? That one where Wenger, he had the kind of respect where, these guys were fighting and training.
Can I add to your analogy?
Yeah, sure.
If Wenger was Xavier, then Ferguson was Magneto. Because he could get inside his head.
You knew where I was going with this, right? But this is the thing now. This is the thing, right? This is where I'm saying, in the Emirates era, right? Wenger had the perfect mutant academy in the Invincibles, right? Because all the unstable mutants were around that needed to control their immense power, right? But once he moved to the Emirates Stadium, once Van Persie left, Cesc Fabregas left, Sami Nasri left, they broke his heart, right? And the unfortunate reality of champions in sport is if I am a top-level football player and I am playing my heart out, and I'm about to go through my peak years, you are not going to keep me at a place where I'm going to lose, right? I'm not going to waste my peak at a place where I cannot succeed, right?
And
so all the
sorry,
yeah, so
just thought of something. You're saying
Yeah.
there is so amazing, because you could say that going to the Emirates totally destabilized us. It was like putting Cerebro on Jean Grey before she was Dark Phoenix.
Oh,
there you go. She's an X-Men fan for real. She's more of an X-Men fan than me.
You
But
were double act.
but this is what I'm saying. In my opinion, in the latter years of Wenger, you started getting too many people who were agreeable, right? You stop getting the unstable mutants. You start getting the Theo Walcotts, the guys who were content to be like, this is the highest I'm ever going to be. This is my pinnacle, right? The reality is, right, you have to get the guys who have the quality and the mindset to push back to you, right? And Arteta's bringing his back. This is what I'm saying. That accountability, it left Arsene Wenger at the ending, right? And he started getting too many people who were agreeable and content. And now we're bringing that edge back where these guys are now. If we don't win with them, they're gonna go. Right?
Do you think
And-
Arteta felt it in that time with Wenger? Do you think Arteta saw something that was missing and said, I will bring it back? Do you think so?
100%. I always say there's only one man, and this is my last thing I'm going to say. Thank you for actually bringing that up. Mark, I don't know if you've heard me make this point on Spaces, but there is only one man, in my opinion, who could have built a defense like this for Arsenal, and it is Arteta. Do you know why? Building a defense like this comes from understanding of how bad things can get, right? This is my analogy, right? Arteta was in the midfield in a double pivot with Ramsey, and Ozil was an attacking mid. We had Laurent Koscielny and Per Mertesacker at the halfway line playing a high line. So imagine when Alex Song-Belong, when he left Arsenal, it was Arteta at the base with that high line getting exposed, right? So when he left, he's gone to Man City, seen the levels, and then he's come back like, I know how bad things can get, so I need a back vote here at the back, right? There's a reason why Klopp and Arteta have built the sort of defenses that they have. They've got a Van Dijk in the middle. Pep Guardiola, right? He's an outstanding manager, but he has never had the suffering that Klopp and Arteta have had to think, I need the back vote. All he needs to do is like, okay, can these guys play out from the back? The keeper, can he play out from the back? Yes. Is he competent in goal? Yes. Okay, I can run. Do I have John Stones at the back? Can he play out from the back? Yes, that's the main question. Is he competent in defense? Yes. Okay, good, let's go. That's Guardiola's mindset. Whereas Arteta and Klopp have been scarred by this thing that I'm talking about. So it's like, I need a bank vote I need Saliba, I need Gabriel, I need the bank vote. Right? And I think the only man who could have built Arsenal this defense from where we have been at the Emirates Stadium is Arteta, because he understands exactly what we have needed. He's been exposed in the midfield. He is the only man who could have come to Granit Xhaka and told him, listen, yeah, before you go off to Hertha Berlin because you told the fans to, and you threw the captain's armband on the floor and whatnot, I can tell you right now, I was in the midfield being exposed next to Ramsey and also. If there's any one man who understands what you're going through in the midfield, it's me. Stay here for a couple of years. I'll show you what you should do, because I've done it before.
Okay, Farnham,
Right? So
one question. Farnham, one question for you. Do you want to publicly say sorry to Granit Xhaka?
Yes, 100%. I've publicly apologized for that, man. Because the Mark knows what I'm talking about. I sent him a long rant, right, that I made. The very game, imagine I went on an hour rant the very game before Chelsea. We played Everton away and we lost 2-1. I don't know if you guys remember. Yeah. Right? I made a rant after that game summarizing all my thoughts about Arsenal, and I was absolutely...
What was it the Mina goal? Mina, is it that goal?
Yes, that game. After that game, I made a rant.
I still remember that corner kick till now, like, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Just say sorry, Farnham. Just say sorry. Granit Xhaka, I'm sorry, I got it wrong.
Granit Xhaka, I apologize. Your Ballon d'Or nominee. Your last game that you lost before the Europa League final was Nottingham Forest away at Arsenal. Ridiculous behaviour. Ridiculous.
Can I just add that this is another reason what you're saying about Arteta? This is another reason why I think he bought, or he's on. We've got Sterling on loan, is because when you remember there was a big hype about us getting him from Everton, and when he came from Everton and the things he was able to do at Arsenal, the experience he was able to get, then he went and he got his coaching badges and the experience he got at City. Him being with us is his redemption arc. Arteta did things at Arsenal he could have never done at Everton to go on and then come back. And he obviously loves this club because he's gone full circle. He's got the experience, come back, right? And I think he sees that in Sterling. And I think he wants Arsenal to be Sterling's redemption arc because there is still an incredible player in there that has been rotting on the bench at Chelsea. And I really, really do genuinely believe that. And I was arguing with Mark on transfer deadline day, right? To the point that I spilt Coke all over my desk, and it ended up going downstairs. Right? But I hope one day he sits there and he goes, do you know what? I think he was a good decision to get him, but we won't know till the end of the season. But
Yes,
I
Aisha, I was going to say, do you want us to keep Sterling after this loan? Are you saying we should go and sign Raheem Sterling?
I think if he makes a significant contribution, then getting rid of him will be a bad idea. Then, yeah. And I also think that's a conversation that's already been had at Arsenal, because all that rubbish in the last 2 hours was the deal's close. He was filming promo videos at the training ground. I mean, I've never seen so much promo for a loan deal. It's obvious, and everybody goes, oh, it's to sell shirts. I don't think it's to sell shirts at all, because what Arsenal player is going to get his name on the back of a shirt if it's a loan deal? Like, you can only wear that shirt for that one season, and you're like, well, that was a bit of a flash in the pan. I don't think so at all. I think that there's more in this.
He's got a lot to prove, Aisha. He's got a lot to prove.
It's got a lot to prove, Aisha, yeah. And
He's
100%,
got a lot
I want
to
it to work. I don't want it to go the line of Willian, because we've seen it in the past. Willian has come, it didn't work. I just don't want Sterling to go that line. I really want it to work, because this is this deal paying less than 100,000 of his wages for the next whatever. Now that is, if it works, and we imagine Sterling, I don't want to go too far, but imagine Sterling winning a league with Arsenal on loan. That will be.
Imagine, do you know what Sterling needs to do? He needs to score on Sunday.
Yeah.
And he'll just win everyone over. Everyone will be won over. It'll just be done. And someone will be buying me a pair of flip-flops.
And one thing I will say, yeah, I discussed this with a Man City fan, right? And we had a crazy discussion. I keep bringing it up. Mark, you've heard me say this on Spaces. If you swapped Doku and Sterling last season, do you think Sterling would have slowed Man City down from winning the Premier League?
No.
Do you think Doku? Do you think Sterling would have gotten more numbers than Doku at Man
100%.
City? Okay, so now listen to this, right? And this is what the Man City fan told me. There's a reason why Doku's not a numbers machine. He's not really an end product guy. But he gets in Pep Guardiola's team every single week. Why? What does Pep Guardiola put him in there to do if it's not for end product? And I'll tell you this right now. If you watch Man City right now, watching them break down low blocks is very scary, because now they've got Savinho and Doku on the wings. So if you're pegged back, those two can break through and get something across. Right now, we can have our own version of that. Sterling and Saka on the wings, those two are dribblers. If you want to get through low blocks and teams are pegged back, like those two can find a way through.
Yeah,
right?
Let's not forget the only reason that Sterling really left City, and I was reading about this the other day, was because his house kept getting raided and he was scared for his kids. His Premier League medals were stolen. He took the first club that could offer him to match of wages, and he went to Chelsea. And then he's been stuck there ever since. We've seen what Chelsea do. They buy all these players. You can buy all these players in the world, but if they're not going to work, they're not going to work. And we've seen that. Havertz has come to Arsenal. We've seen the difference in the player that he is. And And I think that Sterling is going to possibly have the same impact. I'm not saying he's the answer to everything. And definitely, I was very resistant in the beginning about this deal. But I also know that he worked with Arteta when they were both at Man City together. And I know that there is definitely some level of trust and there's a build. And I don't think Sterling thinks that Arteta's going to do to him what has happened with him at Chelsea. And I just, like you say, we're paying what, 30% of his wages? How is this bad for Arsenal? I mean, it's not.
In no way. This is what you call a deal. It is.
And he can cover second.
Yeah, he play right. He can play left. And I just think it's a no-brainer for me. But to add to what Bray said, about Mikel, I think what happened to Wenger as well is Cesc Fabregas. When sometimes I blame Cesc Fabregas for being too good. Fabregas came in and the board said, look, if we can get a 16-year-old boy, a 17-year-old boy, whatever it was, let us tell Patrick Vieira, see ya, then let's see if we can. That's how I feel like that was the revolution. That was the beginning of all these. We started playing. There were some people that played that period. That someone like Ivan we had Miguel, bare young boys, Merida. Nah, I just feel sometimes I say, Fabregas, you were too good. You were too good that you caused some of Wenger's problems. I don't know. I just feel, if you bring in a young man but at some point, Wenger overdid it, if we are being honest. I know the Emirates are there and everything, but Fabregas, wherever you are part of our problems. But
I'm going to go into the tactical battle and key matchups for show. Obviously, talking a lot about Sterling coming in, and I said this last week with you, Mark. And I put it out there and I said, Sterling offers us something that we haven't got. And that's someone that's a little bit more direct and a little bit more greedy. It doesn't mind getting in behind, doesn't mind taking on a shot and actually going for goal and getting things done. I think he's a bit more cynical to that. And I know Saka, obviously, when he gets that opportunity and gets in those positions to have a shot, he does the job. I just feel Sterling's got that little bit more hunger, or certainly that want to kind of get the numbers himself. And I think that direct running and certainly the trickery, the ball at his feet, I think it's going to be very interesting to see on both sides whenever they play. And as we said, alluded to with Martinelli, it's one hell of a season for him to prove himself, to show what he can do. Obviously, some big key battles on Sunday. Saka versus Tottenham's defence, whoever comes in. Obviously, Son, a pain in the backside to us normally. How do we deal with him? And then we have that midfield battle. And Odegaard, obviously, missing. I don't really want to go into the whole realm of international football and why bother doing it after 3 weeks, because I think we all know your thoughts, and I know my thoughts on it. What do you think? I'm going to go to Mark first. What do you think is the most crucial matchup on the pitch, and where is that game going to be likely won or lost?
For me, the game's going to be won and lost in the dressing room with Arteta and his tactics. What kind of system are we going to put up? If we do the rigid 4-3-3 and put Ethan Nwaneri into Odegaard's place, I think we're asking for trouble, if I'm being honest. If Arteta changes that up, I am not scared of Tottenham. I'm not even nervous about the game whatsoever. I'm not. If we go 3 at the back, 4 in midfield, and then a front 3, I just see a total different game. So for me, we've got the best defence in Europe. Let's utilise it for this game. and we have to utilise it for, obviously, the Man City game. So Arteta did get his contract today. Go and show me. Go and show me. Go and put my faith that I have in you. Go and just show me. And that's where I'm at. So I'm looking for 3 at the back, 4 in midfield, and 3 up front. And I don't care what Spurs do. They could play whoever they want. It is absolutely irrelevant. Solanke seemingly out. Van der Ven's possibly out. Honestly, I don't care. The one thing I do know from being Scottish is Ange is stubborn, and he does a high line, and he will not divert from it. So we know that. So if we want to continue to do that high line, if we want to go against that high line, then for me, the game's won. But Arteta has to utilise our defence. And that's it for me, yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Aisha?
I think 100%. Right. I think Saliba Gabriel can cause Son real problems. But I also think the one thing that for me stands out, especially against Spurs, is they're shocking at defending against set pieces, and we have shown great strength in set pieces against them. And I think we go for that. That's our angle. We make sure that they are scared of us with set pieces, and they desperately try not to let us get any. And I think that psychology of just rattling them up about what we could do with it is. I mean, I'd play Martinelli, Sterling, and Xhaka pretty much. Obviously, I know Xhaka is an attacking midfielder, but I would play them 3 up the top. I would make sure that their defence was scared of coming up against those 3. And plus, don't forget, if we don't know our lineup at the moment, neither do Spurs. We don't know what's going on, and the psychology of them not knowing what team we can play because they don't know who we've got injured. That is actually. That could be a strength in itself. So again, I agree with Mark a bit about the tactics, but just slightly different. Not from Arteta planning the tactics, but the mental gymnastics of them trying to work out what our tactics are going to be.
Yeah. No, again, there's going to be a lot of second guessing, I suppose, until that lineup comes out. Bez, are there going to be any surprise changes? Like this, Arteta doesn't really deviate, does he, from his?
It doesn't, but I'm expecting surprises. Yes, I am, and why not? For once, I think, in my view, and as I tried to allude in the previous podcast, I think he needs to now to show more tricks up his sleeve. Surprise the opposition. Stop making them feel like they're. You know how we used to say back in the day as football fans, and we used to learn you have to respect the opposition. That we can do. So the best defensive, unit in the continent. So shall we say? But for me, he's known to be this thing. Like I think when something, say at the moment, we're kind of a morale in the team is a bit, a bit low. But I think behind the contract will give the squad a big lift because I think knowing his mental state, surely know that Sterling will be up for a fight. And plus, as we know, he's a North London boy by nature as well. I remember, I think his first club was QPR before he went to Fulham. Sorry, not Fulham, excuse me, to Liverpool. And I've got a feeling he surely, because I saw some of the little clip when he had the City documentary, I think him and Sterling have a good dynamic. How can I say this? Arteta has got this good, good management skills. The way, as you guys said, the way he controls Xhaka's emotions when he went through that rough patch. I think he'll do the same with Sterling, and hopefully on Sunday he'll give him that little, push to say, look, this is your game for redemption. For Martinelli, as we said as well, he needs a little rebirth, shall we say. Midfield, for me, I actually do want to see Ethan Nalneri, if I'm saying that right. I do want to see him on Sunday. I think age is no limit anymore, defensive-wise, we're good. Our goalkeeper's solid, Our fan base at the minute, as Aisha said, they are moaning, and they like to moan a lot. But there's certain the pleasant ones who at least enjoy the moment. So far, everyone seems in good spirits. But for me personally, I just want them basically just do their own thing. Do their own thing, meaning basically focus on game, man mark your player you're supposed to man mark, But at the same time is do what you do best, which means attack at will. And best don't be scared. As you said when we started this podcast tonight, first half was a great first half, but second half was so nervy. I just felt like, well, what happened there? You know, it's just, I hope that does happen on Sunday. I really hope not.
We nearly Arsenaled it up that night. That's basically what we've done. And we got away with that. But look, it was a great performance for half the game. Reg, what are your feelings about obviously Odegaard being missing? Obviously, we couldn't have picked, or sorry, not that he picked it either. He couldn't have picked the worst time to get an injury like that. Certainly for someone that's so integral to how we play as a team. Obviously, with City on the way next week, and then start the Champions League. What are your thoughts on him being missing, and what potentially can we do to kind of cover that void?
Yeah, you know what, Bray? I don't think there's anyone in our team that presses. You know, when someone leading the press, that is Odegaard. I don't know who is going to do it. I hear Mark, did you say you want us to go 3-4? Do you want us to play 3-4-3? Is that formation?
Yeah.
I know Spurs. I feel for me the key battles will be like Saka, Udogie, and in the midfield, Bissouma and Pep Matassa will be huge.
I think Bissouma's out. Is Bissouma not out?
Is he out? He's back, isn't he? He played.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I think I've heard that he's out.
He's injured as well.
He may have had an injury in the international break, I think. I heard that circling around. Hey, I see a Rice smiles. I'm saying this is smiling back.
I don't know about the midfield, but yeah. For me, I just think we still have a player. We have a player called Zinchenko. To be honest, I love Ethan Nwaneri. Ethan is he's 16 or 17. I don't know if I don't know if it's time. If this is a game we can throw him in just yet. I would rather, because obviously we know we don't have Declan Rice. If we play how we want to play, Zinchenko can do a job in midfield. Obviously we know Jorginho is going to come in, so I'll still play. I'll play Zinchenko, Jorginho, and Partey in midfield. We know our back four is solid as it is. There's I think Timber is good. I don't think the injury, he played for Netherlands, so he should be fine. So we know our back four: Timber, Saliba, William, Saliba, Gabriel, and Ben White. That's sorted. I don't like the idea of dropping Havertz into midfield personally.
No, I don't either.
Yeah, so I'd rather have Zinchenko, because we know Zinchenko can play those line breaking passes. We know the only problem is maybe he's a bit lightweight and might be pushed around a bit, but he has the line breaking passes in him. He can see, he can run into the box. He has a good shot on his left at times. We know. So I'll bring Zini in. I don't know what Mikel is going to do. Then up front, I'm still going to play Havertz, which gives us what we know up front. Our set pieces, we know, is a big threat as well. So I'll play Havertz, play Sterling doesn't start for me, play Gabi Martinelli, and obviously Bukayo Saka. I feel key battles, like I said, will be Destiny Udogie. If Saka gets the better of Destiny tomorrow, on Sunday rather, I'm already excited for the game. If Saka gets the better of Destiny Udogie, I think that is half of the battle for me, and we will be there.
Can I add something to this? Yeah. I think the other. I hear that, but I would say Saka, you just have to keep Destiny Udogie occupied and back. Whereas the other fullback, Pedro Porro, that's where we get in. Eat. Whoever's at left wing, Sterling, Martinelli, Trossard, eat him. That guy can't help himself but go forward.
His defending is not very good.
He's not a great defender. Yeah, if you've got Sterling, you can get by him. If you're starting, you can get by him. Martinelli, if there's one person I can see you paring down and go into Vicario through, away from home to stop the show, like, so I have this picture, yeah. I said it at the beginning of the space, yeah. You guys forgot. I've got this image in my head of Martinelli stopping the show at thingy and reminding me, like, hey, I've got the number 11 on my back. I'm Martinelli here. You forget what I am on the break.
See, he's doing his whole Marvel thing again. Now Martinelli's Deadpool.
Martinelli.
Martinelli's now Deadpool. Is that what you're trying to say? He's breaking that. He's stopping in the middle of the game. Just
Let's come through.
Martinelli's like Apocalypse. You know, he's got the hoodie on right now. He's trying to search for his power.
So
He's Ansabanu.
That choice for the
Cyclops.
left 8 is going to be massive, isn't it? Whoever plays in that left 8 is going to be
Really massive.
going to be huge.
He's gonna
Certainly, if there's space to obviously get at that right-hand side of Tottenham.
And also, one thing that always, for some reason, Thomas Partey's got a lovely habit of bossing these guys in the midfield.
yeah, he does.
Yeah,
He's got a wonderful habit of doing that. Oh,
he's going to be the one that's going to be. Do you not think he's going to be the one that's probably going to be playing as the pivot?
No, 100%. Because really and truly, whoever's at centre forward at Madison, gonna good luck engaging Partey in the middle. And if Papi Matasar wants to empty his whole Partey, will just break that line that he empties. Break it straight in. What
are your thoughts on Partey? Destiny, what are you about? What are your thoughts on my thoughts on Partey is I've gone back and I've watched these games. I think Partey has been absolutely disgusting on the ball. Like, I think people have, like, the only way that people get in on Partey nowadays is, okay, I don't think his athleticism is quite back. Yeah, either that or it's gone down, which is the worrying thing. But I think
it's not coming back. It's gone, bro. I think that one is gone. It's not. It's age. He's lost his. That one is gone. We can only deal with what we have now. Yeah.
Potentially, but I think if you are going to see Partey's athleticism, it's gonna be this game. If he's unable to run in this game, then you haven't got it. But there's something that I've been saying, and people have been saying it copium. I think he's been managing his own body. I think he's been trying. I think he's been trying not to overexert himself ever since he's come back from his injury. Against Aston Villa, right? That Morgan Rogers was destroying Declan Rice and Thomas Partey. But there are a couple of times in that game where I see Partey, you put on the afterburners to get back. I saw it, and I can see how he's jogging back. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. It looks weird to me. Where I'm like, is that your top speed, or are you kind of holding something back so you can stay? To what I'm saying, I don't know, but I have a feeling. Yeah, off the ball, I'm worried about Son Heung-min. I can't lie, Son Heung-min. What we must not do against Spurs, in my opinion, I think we have to attack them via defense. We've got to play on the break against these guys, because if we attack them, they have the opportunity to hit us on a break. That's where they're most dangerous. I don't want Brennan Johnson and Son in behind us going the other way because we're attacking too much. I want them. I trust. Basically, it's like Tottenham. I trust us in a low block to take some punishment. Right? I think we can take punishment and go that way. And I think Tottenham's weakness is they can't help themselves in attack. They will do the all-out attack. Then they will get excited. Yeah, because this is why I say the first 20 minutes, right? First 20 minutes, just absorb that pressure, because that crowd is going to be nervous. Make them make decisions and then pounce off of their mistakes, because Tottenham, they can't help themselves. And their spaces are going to be in behind us to attack. And I think we get in via their fullbacks. The fullbacks is where I'm like, that's your in there. But that's just my opinion anyway.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff, mate. Good stuff. Yeah, I suppose it's going to be prediction time now.
Yes, the best part.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously for North London derby. I'm not going to go into the whole weekend. I might just do that separately. I'm not going to go and bore you all and give Ipswich results and stuff. The one that matters. What are we going for? Aisha Khan, you're next to me.
I have this gut instinct. I have this gut instinct that they're going to score first, really, and shock us, and then we're going to beat them 3-1. I think that's going to wake us up. I think we're going to go in there, and I think there's going to be something, and I'm talking first 10 minutes, and we're going to be sat there going, "What are you doing?" And then all of a sudden, they'll just wake up. I just have this gut feeling. Yeah. Please, if it happens, don't come looking for me in the first 10, 15 minutes. Just give it faith. All right.
Will they get a red card for kicking the ball away, or?
Huh?
Will they get a red card for kicking the ball away, or?
Well, who knows? Who knows?
No, I don't think they will. But Mark, go on.
3-0 to the Arsenal. I don't know why you guys are even worried in the slightest. Aisha, please don't ever swear on another podcast. Ever. The best defence in Europe, and you are giving me this going first. Come on, please. I beg you.
Out of fear, out of nerves, because they're lacking. They have got to go into that game thinking that they can play without.
Do you realise we have Gabriel Magalhaes on the fucking heart of our defence? Do you understand this worry? There is not a Spurs player coming through that back line whatsoever.
But it's
begging you.
The psychology of they know how important Ødegaard is, not only because he's so strong in the middle, but he's the captain, and he is such a he's a rock behind closed doors. He's calm, he's soothing, he reminds me a bit of he's a combination for me of Tony Adams and Dennis Bergkamp. Right. And I think that they will psychologically, they will miss that. They won't physically miss that. And that first 10 minutes is why I think they could be rattled. But you know what? When they stop and they go, "We are the Arsenal, this is Spurs, and this is crap," they're going to get on with it. And that's why I said I think it could go that way.
Okay. Can I ask you, just please, and I pray.
No, you're not testing my urine. I haven't been smoking anything, right?
No. Can I ask you to watch Braveheart, and imagine that Gabriel is William Wallace going into this game? It ain't happening. They're not doing it. Honestly, I'm telling you, my guy is going to come up and absolutely.
You're trying to prove a point by asking a history teacher to watch the most historically inaccurate film to prove your point.
Exactly. But imagine this is Gabriel. This is Gabriel. Aisha is Gabriel. Gabriel is William Wallace going into battle. I'm telling you. Fuck Spurs, 3-0 Arsenal.
Okay, yeah, just before I take the others, if anyone has any questions for the panel, fire them into the chat. We'll try and get some good responses. So, yeah, anything in the chat. Not just what do you think of Tottenham, because you'll know the answer. Bez, what are you going for?
Okay, first and foremost, Mark, I love you to bits. You're my brother. You're my brother, Mark. Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me defend my own self now. Let me say this. Okay, I love you so much.
You know nothing's good's coming. When you're my brother comes first, you know nothing good's coming.
I have to break it down. I have to break it down. So yeah, in Mark's point of view, he's my brother. Yes, I love him to bits. But please, Mark, in Ash's defense, I'm going 3-1 as well, because there was always going to be goals in this game. There was going to be goals, sadly. And I have to stay with 3-1, you know, because you guys already saw half my spot there. So I'll keep it short and simple for now. But 3-1. Arsenal will hopefully win. Yes, I'm nervous. Yes, Spurs will fucking score. Eventually, I think we'll grind out the result at the end.
Bez, I'm about to throw my laptop out of the window. Bro, I'm about to chuck out the window at this.
Man, you killed me in the Euros. You killed me in the Euro when you kept every time Spain was playing. You bloody killed me every time Spain won. I was like, oh god, I was hiding.
Colin Phantom, what's your prediction?
Aisha, you literally, I said exactly what you said, like yesterday on Spaces. Yeah, I think we're gonna win 2-1. Yeah, but I think Spurs. This is how crystal clear my vision is. Yeah, Spurs, we're gonna dominate the first 15 minutes of the game, and then Spurs are gonna get a couple of attacks, and the ball's just gonna go in. I'm talking like someone's gonna take a shot, it deflects off of someone and lands at a Spurs player's feet, and then they're gonna put it in, and it's 1-0, and the stadium's gonna be up, and then you're gonna see the Arsenal players look around and be like, "Is this our season over?" Nah. Right? I think it's gonna be one of them ones where it's like, nah, Spurs, we ain't letting you do this. The crowd's gonna be like, they're 1-0 up, and then we're gonna have 1 or 2 attempts, and it's gonna be like, ooh, hush, the stadium. Then we're gonna get 1-1, then it's gonna be like, ooh, what do we have here? And then you're gonna see Arsenal gonna be like, yeah, we got you, huh? Yeah. And then we're gonna, I think we're gonna, and I can say the 2 goal scorers right now because I've been saying it. I've been saying it to you guys, and you guys keep forgetting. Havertz is gonna score to make it 1-1, and then who's gonna? Who's been paying attention? Who's gonna score the winner? Who's gonna stop the show, guys?
Martinelli. But I'm sorry,
Martinelli on the break, bearing down on Vicario, chest out, celebration at the Arsenal fans. You remember when he put the scarf over that spider cam at 2 seasons ago when Arteta had to chase down Granit Xhaka and Ramsdale? That's what it's gonna be.
Can I just add something? This set feels very similar to transfer deadline day when Mark and I were, the love story was over. But I will make him laugh, right? Because he will laugh at this. I don't know if you was watching it, right? But
wait, was there love? Was there love in that show? I didn't say it.
So I said to him, Mark, there's a photo just been leaked because I was watching Sky Sports here, and I said there's a photo just been leaked of Sterling in his Arsenal shirt. He's like, "Oh, you're joking." I was like, "No, look, I've got it." And it was, I don't know if you can see that. No, I just stuck a picture of Sterling's head on the top of my husband's links. There it is. Yeah, you can see it there. There you go. Right? And it did make him laugh. It did lighten up the atmosphere ever so slightly. Right?
I'll make that my profile picture. I'll make that my profile picture on Twitter. I swear to God.
See if you've not watched that show, do look at back. It was like I seriously lost my fucking shit that
he
night.
Did. Yeah, he did.
I thought you were quite calm. You know what? Yeah.
I had to go on another podcast straight after as well, which I lost my shit on there as well. I really did. But it's all good now. It's just passion.
It is. It's all it is. It is all it is.
Right, Reg.
Yes,
come on. Clean sheet for the Arsenal, Reg. Drum roll.
I don't know. Maybe Mark might be standing alone on this one. Going by recent times, we know that both teams will score. We know both teams are gonna. I pray it's 3-0, but we know both teams will score. I'm gonna go for a 3-1 Arsenal win, and no better time for Mikel Arteta to get this new contract. That's a big boost. Maybe that covers up for every other place we are lacking in the likes of Odegaard and every other injuries that we have. Hopefully 3-1 Arsenal. Sterling has gone to be baptized to wash away everything Chelsea from his system and say, look, before I put on this Arsenal shirt for the first time, I'm cleansing myself of Stamford Bridge. Maybe he comes in tomorrow, gets that 3rd goal. We never know. But yeah, I'm going to go 3-1 to the Arsenal. And Spurs will be Spurs, man. Spurs will be Spurs.
Okay, can I ask you guys a yes or no question?
Go on then.
Do you think anybody who has not started the game for Arsenal this season is going to to start against Spurs?
Zini hasn't started any game this season, has he? No.
He started against Wolves.
Yeah, I was going to
Oh
say.
yeah, he started against Wolves. Yeah, okay, yeah. He started.
He went off and Timber come on.
And Timber come on. Yeah. I was actually at the Wolves game. Yeah, true. Yeah. So that's my only person I'm thinking. I'm not Mikel, but I'll bring Zini in midfield. I don't know what you guys think.
I was going to.
Yeah.
The
only people who are not starters are, let's say, Sterling, Ranieri, Skelly, Jorginho, Calafiori.
Jorginho. I think Jorginho starts. Sorry, yeah. Jorginho, he has no option. Who else are you going to start in midfield? Jorginho starts.
He does have an option. We do not need a double pivot against Spurs. And I'm not having a double pivot against Spurs. For me, Lewis Skelly. Get Lewis Skelly on that park. I'm telling you guys, when you see this guy play, your minds will be blown.
I've seen him play. I mean, I think if we are 3-0 up and it's comfortable, last 10-15 minutes, I'd given him.
I would start him, Aisha. I would start him. I am that confident.
You can't run the risk of starting a game like this and putting your youth players on, right?
Yeah.
But I would 100% put one of them on the last 10-15 minutes. You're giving them taste of the North London derby. And let's face it, what are you saying to Spurs? You're so shit that we're putting our youth on against you in the last 10 minutes because we're really not bothered about taking the benefit.
Aisha, he has nothing to lose. He cannot fail. If he has a shit game, it doesn't matter. If he has a banging game, he's a legend. It does not matter. Lewis Skelly. I want Lewis Skelly in that park.
I had an interesting discussion about this. Like, okay, say you take away our perspective and the manager's perspective, because we're always going to try and protect these players. Right? Think about being Ranieri or Skelly. Do you think you can play in a game like this? Will you be itching to play in a game like this? If the manager started you, would you be ready? 2-week break? Yeah? Ranieri and Skelly are no longer training or playing with the under-21s. They're training with the first team. And now they've gone off to international breaks and they've played for the under-21, so they've got game in the system. If they were to come back now, do you think they would not be ready for the game? Just from within. Interesting discussion, but that's just a food for thought. Because
we're going away Spurs. I know about showing respect to your opponent. We don't want to show Spurs respect, but you can't be Ranieri in the derby away from.
I would rather Skelly than Ranieri. Mark has talked extensively to you about this, but I say if how I would do it personally, if I was going to start Skelly, I would put him on the left 8. And I'll be like, morph into a double pivot with Partey. Do you know why? That left side is your zone, right? You can be a left 8, and how I'll do it, right? This is a team that I suggested. Trossard at false 9, and either Sterling or Martinelli this side, Saka on the right. Then you would put Partey at the base, Skelly on the left 8, Havertz on the right 8. And what you do is, when Havertz breaks away from the structure to go and play 10 and play close to his guy Trossard, Skelly and Partey, you go on a double pivot. Skelly on your left side of the double pivot with a left back and a left 8, where you've been playing your whole time while you've been developing. In the academy, you are one of the guys who are the platform for Ranieri and those attacking players to go and play. So at least as a young player, you have an understanding of how to keep structure. Your recovery habits are, if in doubt, he knows to get back into structure, maintain structure. I wouldn't start Ranieri because of the same reasons that you're talking about. He requires a free role, in my opinion. Therefore, I wouldn't put him in a game like this. But Skelly has an understanding of structure. He's a physical lad. You're not going to bully him physically on the ball. You're not. And I think he's got an understanding. He's a very efficient player. He knows 1 touch, 2 touch. Right? He knows how to move the ball. He knows how to break a line. Okay, this is just my thought process anyway. But
But we know
ever I'm going to. Yep.
But we know what Mikel is going to play. Mikel is going to just go in there, Jorginho, Partey, Havertz. Even though we don't want Havertz in midfield, that is just what he's going to do. That's what I feel.
I don't think so. If he's going to play Jorginho and Partey, how's he going to do that?
That midfield just solely for the fact that there is no athleticism in that midfield. I'd be more worried about the legs in that whole midfield and being able to turn back and work backwards. I don't think there's the legs in there to last a half. You know what I mean? There's got to be someone in there that is got
as a midfield balance. Partey, Zinchenko, and Havertz make sense. Either that or Jorginho instead of Partey.
Will you play Skelly? Will you play Lewis Skelly? Knowing you have a Zinchenko, will you play Skelly ahead of Zinchenko?
Well, personally, he's never played for some. I've been waiting for Zinchenko in midfield, but I think that there's never been enthusiastic to do it. I don't know why, but I'll do it.
I think right now his hand has been forced. There's no Rice, there's no Odegaard. What will you do?
I think he's got to maybe do it, hasn't he?
Yeah, but I'm saying, but his hand has been forced into which direction, though?
Yeah,
Zinchenko in midfield. I want to see let's play Zini in that midfield. He's done the inverting thing. Now just say, do you know what? Progress a bit now. Move forward a bit in that you've been inverting from. Yeah, easy there. I think the solution.
I wouldn't be against that, to be honest, at all.
Let's see what he does. But I'm going 3-1 to the Arsenal. Paul, you've not given us your own prediction, you know.
I know. I've been trying to.
Hey, on the corner.
He's avoiding it.
I was hoping you weren't going to pull me up.
Let's hear it for the record.
I mean, it's really tough. Obviously, the lineup is obviously going to be the one that is literally going to give you that confidence, isn't it? Really, you don't know which way he's going to go.
You see the lineup, you'll be like, okay.
Yeah, you could say, right, okay, yeah, I'm confident. Look, I've watched enough to kind of know what these games are like, and certainly away from home. I think personally, we have to just make sure we don't lose. And whether or not that's defeatist or not, I think there's an end game that is probably a lot bigger than what some might think. We could all say, right, okay, yeah, we're going to win every single game. I think this is going to be this. I'm a realist. I know that we're going to drop points. Just have to make sure that we don't drop points in too many games.
Sorry. Just want to add a point. Our friend in the comments was saying that we're going to go crying to Woolwich. Just want to point out that when Arsenal actually started playing in 1886 as in Woolwich, technically the boundaries made it closer to Erith, i.e. Plumstead, than Woolwich. So we ain't crying anywhere, mate. You go learn some jobs.
I think it's going to be a tough game. And as I said, well, like you said, obviously that first 20 minutes is going to be very interesting, and it will set the tone to the game. If we're hard to beat, if we're compact, if we make them work, if we keep the crowd down and we quieten them down through that period, yeah, we can get some good results. But it's going to be that key between midfield and defence, and being able to deal with the spaces in between, and that link up between that midfield and then the striking side of things to actually ensure we can actually get a proper kind of road into the game. Because at this minute, creativity, I think, is being stifled from Odegaard not potentially being there.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I wouldn't. If he's this dubious about him playing, and we do have other options against Spurs, I personally would not risk Odegaard if it's, I wouldn't I don't think I'd risk him, to be honest, if he was 50-50. There's more important games like Man City that we've got to concentrate on. We've got a plan for this, and I think that it's not. Yeah, no, yeah.
I
I mean,
think
I like the hope you said you've never won a trophy in my lifetime. Wasn't it 1961 the first time they won?
No, yeah.
1961. That was the year my dad was born, and he's getting ready to get his pension. So let's just remember that one.
Same
And
as
he
mine,
said,
actually.
he
Same
said
as mine as
we've
well.
not beat them 3 seasons in a row. Obviously,
That's me
somebody
being a
asked,
wee bit naughty in the chat.
Paul, I don't know if you saw in the chat, someone was asking what our views of wearing our wearing the away top.
I saw
Yeah,
that.
no, that's I was going to come to the questions after my prediction. I still haven't grown the balls.
Yeah,
to,
you've beaten around the bush.
I'm going to go squeaky bum 2-1.
Paul,
well.
why you doing it to me? Why you doing it? Every
It
single
was
one of you
like
have
1-1,
conceded. Also, every one of you have conceded.
2-1.
Gabriel, William Wallace, just remember the spot. Guys, where are we? Where are we going here?
Mark is a lone wolf
Man.
right now. He's a lone wolf.
Yeah.
We got William Wallace at the back. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, it will be glorious if we just banter these guys with no midfield and we go and beat them at White Hart Lane. Oh my gosh, it'll be glorious.
It will be ridiculous. So he
Imagine all meeting here after, like, yeah, we done it. Of course, we beat them.
I'm going to
Yes.
banter you guys on. I'm banting you guys on the next podcast when we keep a clean sheet of White Hart winning the beat them. And you guys have all hung out your dish towels on the washing line. What is going on? Seriously, come on.
Because
This is our-
because we've seen Arsenal too many times in the first 10-15 minutes. How many of us have been shouting at the TV or sat shouting in the ground? Keep it calm, keep the ball low, stop passing backwards. You know what you can do. Stop shaking. Pass to him. He's over there. Why wasn't he there? You didn't release this. We know we've seen it too many times to not think that they could potentially do this in the first 10-15 minutes.
Are we going to see Ange Postecoglou? You know the
Aisha, I promise you.
The Ange post. Are we going to see it tomorrow after like maybe 50 minutes? When my man
hands on the knees. Hands on the knees, out of breath.
I want to
this guy draw. Exactly. This guy to Leicester on the first game of the season.
Can I say something, Mark? Can I say something?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's all right. I have silence. It's almost like I'm a teacher. I'm going to give Ronnie some due because he spent his Thursday night tuning into an Arsenal podcast. I'll give him his dues. It must be quite refreshing to listen to an Arsenal.
Well done, Ronnie.
But as I say, we can banter each other and say about stuff. But yeah, look, 61 was the last time they won the league in black and white. We've won the league twice. They'll win the league more times than they've seen their own team. So I'm just going to leave it there. There are levels.
Paul, I was on space last night. I jumped onto enemy lines for Tottenham. And I jumped on space last night. So I went on and I said, you guys obviously could have had a new player if you had got top four. But instead of that, you want Arsenal to not win the league. You were more focused on Arsenal than yourselves. And that is why Ange was hitting on you. They came at me. And do you know what? See the deciding factor. And I started more on Arsenal space after that. They mentioned Sol Campbell. Get over it. It's happened. It's done. Have you
ever read Sol Campbell talk about the time when he went back to the lane to play and he was hiding on the floor of the bus because they were attacking the bus? This is, look, not being funny. This is beyond football. It's ridiculous. And and that's why, like, I just think that you get to a point. I will banter with any football fan. I will, but I will never, ever, ever take it to the level where it becomes personal. I will muck about, but the bottom line is, you know, at the end of the day, God forbid, if something was to happen to a Spurs player on the pitch, every Arsenal fan would be clapping them. If the same was the other way round, we saw it when Fabrice Muamba got injured. We saw the way the Spurs fans, all the camaraderie, the way they all got behind. It's more than just football. And to me, I think that's where the passion needs to be watched, because we all get really passionate, and but this is where it stops. And this is why I think these podcasts are great, because we can vent it here, and that's like the end of it. The greatest thing for me, right, is my dad, when I was younger, had the conversation about, you know, I was getting to the age where I was probably going to start thinking about boyfriends. So my dad sat me down and he went, right, I'm going to have this conversation with you now. My dad's Turkish, typical, like very awkward father-daughter conversation. He goes, I don't care whether whoever, what nationality, what race you bring home. I don't care.
Not talking now.
Okay. He goes, don't ever bring a Spurs fan in my house. That's all I'm asking. Right? He went to me and he was dead serious. He's like, I'd love to have a watch along with you guys on Sunday, but my dad's coming to my house to watch it. And I will get cut out of his will if I don't watch that game with him on Sunday. Right? So,
do you know something? See, as an Arsenal fan, see, during the Euros or the World Cup, I think, no, the World Cup, see when Ericsson had that Hunt Ericsson, go and tell me one person on here that did not play for Ericsson on that
100%
day.
I did. 100% I did. 100%.
Yeah, certain things go beyond football.
There's no hatred. There's no hatred whatsoever.
No, not at all. It's all in the passion and love of the football, and that's why I got so angry with the Spurs fans that took it that next level when it was against us, because like that whole thing with City was because there are levels that you'll support your club, but when you're going to the level of wearing another club's shirt or you're singing another club's song, right? And by the way, I'd like to add, I read in the chat earlier someone saying Arsenal fans were doing that outside the Emirates. They were kissing Tottenham badges. They're pathetic as well. Like I'm not just saying Spurs fans. I'm saying anyone that does that is pathetic. You have a club, you support them. That's the end of it. And yeah, that's just my opinion.
Aisha, I agree with you wholeheartedly.
It's basically like our supporters like Piers Morgan, and I don't class Piers Morgan as a fan.
Okay, can I just quickly? I'm not going to get into
politics. He wore a Tottenham shirt, didn't he, as well?
I'm not going to get into politics, right? But did anyone see that video? The AFTV video where they interviewed Keir Starmer and walked around the Emirates.
Oh, no.
I watched it and I was like, it just, you know, like when the videos just come on one after the other when you're on YouTube, and I was getting on with something and I was watching it, I was going, right, this man is making me want to turn something off about my own football club. It was so boring.
That was before he was made Prime Minister, yeah?
Yeah, it was so boring. I was like, how are you making, you're meant to be passionate about this football club, right? How are you making something you're passionate about sound so boring? Like, I could make a lesson plan of my most boring lessons sound more interesting than what he was talking about.
Aisha, as long as he could put through the plans to expand the Emirates beyond the council, because he is in that position, I do not care. I'll vote for him next. Just get that stadium to 100,000. I'm all good.
Someone called Kai in the chat has said, Aisha, Arsenal fans. I'm not saying Arsenal fans didn't do that. I'm saying Arsenal fans are pathetic that did that. Because you'd never catch me in another club shirt, especially one of my rivals, just to get one over on another rival. It's pathetic.
Will anyone here be at the stadium? Will you be is anyone going to the Tottenham Stadium?
No. It's, yeah, I'm a season ticket holder, but
same here.
Yeah,
I'm still gonna be in Exeter, by the beach, trying to
tickets for love or money at the minute. But yeah,
you know what? It's great that I'm by the beach. I might need it. If anything goes wrong, mate, I've got 1 day of serenity to cover from. My days, mate.
That said, let's say, no, I'm not. This is not never going to happen. If results don't go our way, where does this leave us?
Panicking. The world's let's be clear, right? If Arsenal don't win this game, yeah, you know that panic that we talked about, it's gonna go into overdrive. But then really and truly, it's not over. Like for me, It's not over. It's not over yet. It's way too early in the season.
Yeah, I saw a quote from Paul
Tottenham,
Merson.
it is a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, exactly. I saw a
But-
quote from Paul Merson that said if we don't win, I don't even think he said win, or he said something about these two games, Tottenham City, that if we don't win these two games, that our season is done. I'm like, I'm not too sure, mate. I don't know about that, but it's just that'll be 5 games in, or is it 4 games in? So it's still very early doors.
They were the same people.
But
saying
what I will say, I think the next 3 games we got Spurs away, Atalanta, and Man City at the Etihad, right?
Yeah.
These 3 games are the games which will unequivocally prove to us whether we can manage.
Yeah.
I really do think that if how we do the next 3 games will set the pace, and as well as straight after the international break, it's gonna set the momentum. So we the next 3 games for the momentum of our season, it's big 3 games.
No, even with players available, that would have done exactly that, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But this has just made it then that extra bit trickier.
Because imagine we get 9 points from these 3 games.
Of course. Yeah, 100.
Just imagine that. Imagine we beat Tottenham, Atalanta, and Man City away. Just imagine.
Let's not push it too much there,
I'm just saying, like, can you see how quickly perception can change? Like, just like this. Like this, it can change like this.
Look, New Year's Eve, we thought everything was done. We lost to Fulham, we thought that's it. Then fast forward 6 games and we're back in a title challenge.
100%.
And also the other thing I wanted to add here is that what wouldn't surprise me, because we've seen stranger things happen. The year we won the double, one of the years we won the double, Man United were 11 points clear, right? They were 11 points clear.
At Christmas,
right?
I think it was 11 or 8. I don't.
Yeah.
But the point is, they've already said, the Premier League, they want this stuff with City done and dusted by Christmas. They've already said they want this done. They don't want this to be dragging on, and they want it done. They want to come to some settlement. Do you know what I think is going to happen? They could, in theory, because we've seen them, it happens, other teams drop them down leagues. They're not going to want to, because City make the Premier League too much money. But what I reckon they're going to do, and I can see this happening, right? We're going to be 8 points behind them at Christmas. They're going to get deducted to 10 points. I would not be surprised if that didn't happen. And then all of a sudden, our players start coming back from injury, and then we see what the real Arsenal's about.
That's conspiracy theories going on there.
Possibly.
I'll take that. I'll take that outcome.
Everything's possible.
On
Guys.
face value.
It's happened before, it happened again. Everything's possible.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. But we're obviously on a good run as well, away from home as well. So we got, what is it? It's 9, isn't it? 9 unbeaten.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Ray, I want to thank you again. Sorry, Ray.
I said before, Villa, if we get to that level, and then it would have been then Tottenham and then City. If we stayed unbeaten there, and we're suddenly talking about 11 or 12 games unbeaten away from home, we're in an unbelievable position. I think it's really good. So look, there's positives, and then there's the negative side of things, and that, whatever narrative you want to go down on that side. The way I see it is, these kind of games we play against Tottenham or say City, they've kind of always come a little bit later in the season, except for that 5-1 against Man City away from home when Xhaka got sent off.
Was it 5-0? Was it 5-1 or 5-0?
Cancelo, wasn't it?
Yeah, was it 5-1 or 5-0? I think he ended 5-0.
It might be. It must be. It might be 5-0. Yeah.
5-0. I remember. Like,
we started off really well. We started really well for the first 7.5 minutes, and then we conceded a goal after 8 with their first attack. So normally we've always got a tough game towards the end of the season when it matters, and ideally, we don't want those. So if we can get 2 of these games out of the way early on, they've got to come to us later on in the season. And as I said, they're the games that we'll start picking up points from them, and that's when it matters. So maybe we can be the hunter.
And don't forget as well, Haaland didn't have a European competition in the summer. He's raring to go. He's fighting fit.
Fresh. It's
But
fresh.
what happens in
Just out of the oven.
February? But what happens in January, February when he's not? You know, like the thing is, everyone goes on about Pep, and maybe this is a controversial statement, but Phantom, you mentioned it earlier. You said that he knows how to play players. It's like a machine, the way that City run, and you know that it doesn't. It's not a system that the players are they play like that, but they don't play like that when they're in internationals. How many of those players did we see that underperformed at the Euros because they had been drilled to play that certain way, and then they couldn't play that same way with the teams that they were with? We saw it. Foden's first couple of games were shocking because he had to adapt to the fact that he wasn't playing the Guardiola way. But everyone goes on about Guardiola. I'd love to see him manage Brentford or Ipswich and see if he could do the same thing, because I bet he couldn't do, because he doesn't have the resources to do it.
Exactly.
Aisha, that's a discussion for another day. Let's not go too deep. I tell you now,
That's a wormhole.
Fresh new conquer worms of it's going to open something new, entirely different. But yeah, I know.
Do you know what? It's a fair question, right? So just before Paul stops the stream, I was asked from Tom Canton, if Arteta was in charge of Manchester City, would he win the league? What's your thoughts on that?
And if Arteta was manager of Man City with Haaland up top and De Bruyne and Rodri and Gaff, what would happen?
Would he win the
I
league?
don't know.
Hand on my. If you point a gun to my head with the players Guardiola had last season, I would say yes. Considering the way he performed with Arsenal, I would say yes.
Are you sure?
I do think so as well. Because again, it's the team. It's down to the team and the resources that you have.
Paul?
Yeah, I said I still think City are levels above everyone else with the amount they've got in their squad. And this is what I'm saying. They don't suffer from 2 or 3 injuries because they've got another player that can come in off the conveyor belt that's been brought in from the youth, which obviously is a decent standard now. So they've always got these players in, and they can move players on, but they've brought players in as well to do. So they've got the numbers there, and this is where I say I just think we're still playing catch up. And I think I said before the end of last season, I think we're still about 5 windows away from getting anywhere near probably where Man City are in terms of quality and numbers within their squad. Because
you reckon?
Nah, I think 5 might be.
I really think we are literally 1 or 2 explosive attacking quality players away from them.
I'm gonna say
1 or 2.
I'm talking numbers. I'm saying we obviously had to ridiculously clear out the I wouldn't say deadwood, but as I said, that we had to kind of reduce the kind of the levels from being down on the floor to where obviously the higher ones are, the Sakas and whatever. We've had to try and bring it all together, haven't we? And I think we've done a lot to kind of get rid of a lot of players that in and around the squad. And we haven't replaced. We can say we haven't replaced that because we've got rid of say 5-6 players.
Yeah, we've not replaced Eddie. Someone like Eddie.
Yeah, but you look at that. How have we then improved our numbers from what we've got rid of? So this is why I say 5 windows, because again, there'll be times where we're getting rid of, we're being a bit more focused on getting rid of players to then bringing in players that will then going to give us the quality to go on top.
Quality's going up. Bez, what do you think? Do you think if Arteta was in charge of Man City last season, would Arteta won the league?
To keep it as concise as possible, I say yes, because his management skills are, for me, as I said, a bit better than other managers current in the top tier leagues of European levels. Because say this right, and I'm not gonna even allude to anything what's gonna happen Monday. I think for us football fans, as I see it, yes is the answer to your question. Sorry, because I nearly went off topic, but simply be.
No, you're not going off topic.
Yeah, I'm just thinking where for Monday. I just hope Monday some sort of justice will prevail on Monday, because surely a team that has 115 charges behind their head as a wanted target surely now UEFA will see sense / the Premier League, who run the show basically, as we know, despite the PGMO, which I've got some strong words again to speak about them another God-given podcast, because I'm a bit, as I say, hard on my sleeve with Arsenal. I'll fight for this badge as well as a football fan. But at the same time, hopefully we see some sort of clarification as well, where we stand as football fans. If a team does overdo the rules, if a team does cheat, surely now there has to be boundaries between a football team, a team that gets owned by certain, so say, commissions of the high end of, say, Saudi Arabia, well, God knows what. And ironically, only 2 weeks ago, I found out Man City has actually opened a youth team / youth center for football in Albania. Was I'm like, are they trying to now make every little small country little, brackets of some sort of ownership, like Newcastle's doing? So I feel like this has to be mentioned at some point again, because something's dodgy happening with this club. I feel like they want to find little loopholes to break the rules. It seems that something's going on.
Just taking you back quickly to what you were saying about, like we were talking about teams. I make often a lot of analogies and comparisons between military history, because I'm a military historian. That is the thing I'm trained in, and I often think about football in the sense of the thing that City have that Arsenal don't have, which is a reason why I think, well, we're getting there, but I think this is why when you say we're missing some key players. If you think about trench warfare, right? You always have your frontline trench, you have your reserve trench, you have your R&R trench, right? If you say the arrest and relaxation trench, you say that is your youth team. You say your reserve trench is your reserve team, and then your first trench is your first team, right? We don't have a full reserve trench to rotate in with our first battalion. And this is the problem. You cannot we need to be able to pick players out and slot players in. You need to pick out an artilleryman and be able to put in a member of the medical staff. Like, you need to be able to take out somebody that can handle a Lee Enfield rifle and put in someone that can handle a Maxim machine gun. We don't have that at the moment. That's where our problem is. And we're seeing that because we've just spent nearly 2 hours talking about what players can we slot in for a bit of a quick fix because we're missing certain key players. At the end of the day, it's not quite the sinking of the Titanic, but we're definitely a boat at the moment. We're going to have to plug some holes because we've got some little drips. And I think that this is where the January transfer window could be quite key, because I think we've got to think, right, this is our last opportunity to turn this around if we are 6 points behind City by that point.
Yep. Van, to come to you, you're last, and I deliberately done that.
Oh, goodness.
Without mentioning Manchester City, talk to me about 2020 to now, Arteta, and do you think Arteta would have won the league last season for Manchester City?
Well, I'll answer the second part of that.
Sorry.
I'll ask, that's a heavy question. I'll answer the second part of the question to save time. But I think Man City would have still gotten over the line against Arsenal with Arteta as Man City manager, purely because I still think Arteta coached good games against Aston Villa, away and at home, against West Ham at home. Maybe Fulham was the game where we played badly, but I think he still coached the games against it. I just don't think our team took the chances. So I think Guardiola could have done a similar thing where he could have coached the perfect game, but really and truly, are you going to execute? These Man City players, they've got players that they're just got generals who can just take the game away from them. Like that, the game when De Bruyne came back against Newcastle. We don't have players like that. The guy just came on 15-minute cameo and literally won the game from 1-0 down. Like, that was ridiculous. Like that there, we don't have that is the sort of cutting edge quality that we need, like 1 or 2 of those, and then like this is serious. Like, we're a threat to Europe at that point, and even the Champions League. But But Mark,
in your question, are you saying if Guardiola was at Arsenal and Arteta was at City? Is that what you're saying, or just get Guardiola out of the equation?
It's irrelevant. For me, it was irrelevant. But yeah, if you swap them over,
If you swap them over, my answer might change. I don't want. Let's not go too deep, maybe because of time. If you swap them, I might change my answer, to be honest. But if you're taking Pep Guardiola out of the equation completely and just take Arteta to City, Arteta wins the league. But if you swap them, it might be different, to be honest.
I think Arteta's a better manager, if I'm being honest.
Than Pep Guardiola.
Yeah, 100%.
Woo!
Yeah.
End the stream. End the stream, the brain. End it. Let it go.
No. We have the best young manager. For me, we have the best young manager in the world.
The best young manager in the world.
Yeah. I think there's only 3 managers above him right now. And if you look at what the 3 managers have had, I'll name them. Klopp, Pep, Ancelotti. If you look at Ancelotti and the resources he's had.
What about Inzaghi, Amorim? You've got managers like Xavi Alonso's just got unbeaten in the Bundesliga. He's question mark.
Thiago Motta as well.
Thiago Motta's just done a madness. Gone to Juventus.
Can he do it on a cold Tuesday night in Stoke?
This is
I deliberately asked you to go back to 2020 to bring that through, but you didn't do that. No manager would have done. Ancelotti is running away from Everton.
Yeah, but you remember I did also mention to you, Mark. Arteta's understanding of our club and the problems that we have. Yeah, he understands us meticulously to a point where he put that defense in place.
This is the proper, entirely new podcast you want us to go into. I don't know.
This is another layer.
We should have brought this up at 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So there would have been no Tottenham preview. There would have been no Tottenham preview. I'll tell you right now.
We can go into this one on a different day and have.
Okay, you're all welcome back. You're all welcome back, and I will host this podcast. I swear, I will host this podcast.
I went to get something. This is why I think personally, Arteta knows what he's doing. Right? This is not a joke.
Come on,
this is not me suddenly going to get the ball. Right?
Is that win?
Hey, win the dog, mate. Love the difference. The difference between the title or not.
No, do you know why I brought that up? This is a genuine thing, because that is a very clever tactic. Because when I watched the Arsenal All or Nothing series, as a teacher, watching the tactics he's doing in the dressing room, the little starter activities, the group building things, people were like, what the hell is he doing? We're meant to be playing football. The psychology of what he's doing, the reason why he got this dog goes home with players who have bad games. It's called win. The reason he does it is to nurture the win, to say, if you can't look after this dog and you can't look after something, you can't nurture what you're doing. We've got a support dog at school. And I remember thinking, do you know what? The dog officer don't go home with the kids, but it spends time in the classroom. And I remember thinking to myself, this man is so clever what he's doing. He's taking very young players, often from the academy. He's treating them like he is actually a teacher as well as a manager. He is nurturing what he's getting. He's getting inside their head. He's understanding their brains and their bodies. And then on top of that, what do Arsenal do? They then go and sell these for £25 each, which is creating revenue because all the kids love to buy them because it's a cute bloody dog. It's all clever. And while that might sound like I'm deviating from the football, it's not. It is the clever strategies of being a manager. What did Wenger do when he come to Arsenal? There's a whole story about him really upsetting all the footballers' wives because he was telling them what to cook their husbands at home. He was sending cookery books to their houses saying, this is what you've now got to start cooking for them. It's the same thing. And that's why I say, have faith in him and what he's doing, because he's definitely got something that I haven't seen in that club for a long time. And I'm so passionate and I'm so excited to see where this goes. And you know what? We are a team in transition that has challenged City now 2 seasons in a row. Tell me that's not something to be proud of to be an Arsenal fan.
Aisha.
Yeah, that's
Can I
true.
just, guys, can I just say, I've just had a message from a Man City fan who was an ex-Arsenal fan, and he's massive. He's
An
massive
ex-Arsenal
on,
fan, really?
yeah. He's massive on Spaces, and he's massive on Twitter. He's just told me that he's watching. So Hamza, what I'm going to say to you, are you digging out? What top do you need to dig out? Is it JVC top, Arsenal top when Man City go down, or just, guys, give me the best Arsenal top that Hamza should pick out his closet tonight? Hamza, thank you very much for tuning in, bro.
Reg, I think you was
Bergkamp
gonna-
top, isn't it?
going to say something to me a minute ago. I didn't.
Nah, yeah, what I wanted to say is, I know you said Arteta is brilliant, yes, all his ideas and stuff. The only thing is, because we've seen what he's doing, if we get into what Xabi Alonso is doing at Leverkusen, if we get into what Simeone Inzaghi is doing at what's his first name? Inzaghi, yeah? At
Yeah.
or the
Simone
Simeone of Atletico Madrid. Arteta must be doing something right for him to be at Arsenal for bloody. It is 5 years now. I give him, I hail him, but I think we've now gone past that stage where we give ourselves credit for challenging City for 2 seasons in a row. Like, it's almost like telling that child who is coming second all the time, like, oh, you're doing very well.
No, that I agree with.
It's time we need to take that leap. And that said, in our defense, I pray for the day when our attack is going to be like our defense. You see our defense now, I can't be more confident. If tomorrow Tomiyasu comes back, I'm not even going to be bothered if Saliba is injured. I'm not saying it's the same level, but Tomiyasu can come in. You see Calafiori is away now. We have Timber. The day Timber is not feeling good, Calafiori comes in. We just need, I'm happy with the defense. We need an attacker. We need someone. We need a jokeris. We need something. I don't know, but yeah, that would be my.
I totally agree with you. The only thing I'm going to say is the reason I say that's something to be proud of is because we don't have untold resources like they do. We haven't, and the fact that we've been able to make very clever decisions, very clever strategical buys, do what we've done. I mean, so many people thought that we were going to go backwards when we got rid of Aubameyang. We didn't, and I just think, I don't know, it's just a gut feeling I have, but you can't deny this thing is cute. That's all I'm
saying. It is cute. It is cute.
Right, everyone. The last thing.
Last thing. What do you think of Tottenham?
No. Before that, what are your views on us wearing the black away top on Sunday?
Well, Mark's wearing it. You go first.
I mean, yeah, come on.
Yeah, I'll just call it. This kit is beautiful. Black kits in Arsenal just go. So if we have to turn up, absolutely, that's my favourite one. If we have to turn up at their stadium looking this good, I'm all for it.
Yeah,
I don't care about red and white. It's all here. You're going to look beautiful, beating you 3-0 on your own pitch. Do what you want, guys. As simple as that.
I was reading it's something to do with the fact that we've got so much white on the back and VAR is going to have trouble picking up the different.
It's ridiculous.
We actually went back to them and said we would wear red shorts, and they said no.
Well, how do you think Ben White feels? Because he's actually got the name White on the back of the shirt as well. I've got way too much white going on here then. I think it's ridiculous.
You should dye his hair white as well, kid.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful kit. Who cares?
I feel like everything happens for a reason, though, and it's going to work in our favor. This kit, we went to Aston Villa.
Yeah,
it's already proven to be. yeah, we've won away already in this kit. We can do it again at not London.
What is it with black kits?
And
Do you not
just
think
for a psychological thing, this is if Arsenal are petty, as Mark said, right, as Arteta is, this is another thing that's pissed us off, right? If we're really taking pettiness to another level, you stop me from wearing red against Tottenham. Now I have to go and destroy you in black, the antithesis of your white. So really and truly, let's play. That's the way I'll do it. Yeah, 100%. It's like, okay, we're in funeral colors now.
Yeah. Let's bury you.
Black Panther
Let's
to that.
kill you.
Black Panther to that. I said Black Panther.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We don't
funeral
get
time.
the coffin bearers just doing the old dance. The old meme. Tottenham. Well, let's hope. Maybe we might get Fat Ange doing the dance or his little pose, and then having that just like.
you might even put a kilt on? You might even put a kilt on.
Who knows? Who knows? But guys, 2 hours. It's been a blast. I think. Yeah, some really
A
good.
whirlwind.
I've been happy to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah. Aisha,
Same,
Reg,
guys.
Phantom, Bez, and Mark. Yeah, thanks for your time. Yeah, some really good stuff. And yeah, as I say, it's a charged weekend, and I think there's a lot of good stuff, a lot of passionate views. So, yeah, thank you for coming on, and hope to have you all on again on other shows moving forward. So, yeah, numbers are really good. All I've got to say is, what do you think of Tottenham?
Shit.
And then what do you think of shit?
Tottenham.
Tottenham.
That's right.
That's all right.
Yeah, thank you, Gooners. Thank you for watching in the chat. Yeah, really good to have you on. Yeah, watching in the North Bank. This is the Matchday Preview Show. We're back on Sunday before the show. Before the game for our pre-game show, and then after the game to hopefully
Who's
get.
hosting that? Who's
huh?
hosting that?
You what?
Am I hosting it or you hosting it?
You can host it if you want.
No, you're better.
And don't forget, there's another thing though. We won it Liga Anfield. We won it at the Lane twice.
On your own.
Innit? Henri said it best. Celebrating a draw. Celebrating a draw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll sort it out, Mark. We'll sort it out for Sunday. And we'll be around.
Yeah, guys, my last thing to say is North London derby, it is time for battle. What to say, Mark Wallace? Time for battle,
time
bro.
for battle.
Time to get angry. Arsenal, time to get angry.
Time for
William
battle.
Wallace,
Thank you all.
Gabriel.
Man of the match prediction, guys. Who are we going for? I am going to go Bukayo
Saka, when he's down the wing, Saka, Saka.
I'm going Gabriel. Gabriel is just going to smash through
Mark Wallace, man of the match. Like, Mark, if Gabriel gets man of the match, all you have to do is just post the Mark Wallace picture. No caption, nothing. Just a picture.
You're falling in love.
And tag Aisha as well while you do it.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's just gone 11. We're heading off. On to Sunday. Let's get a win, get the 3 points, and then we move on. We move on to that next week. So thank you, everyone.
Come on, you guys.
And hopefully we get the spoils. And we take those bragging rights all the way back from Middlesex back to our neck of the wood. So well done, everyone. See you later.
Have a good one, guys. See ya. Bye-bye.
Come on, Arsenal.